Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a while since we've done some Dead Meat, and we figured we would finish out the main series of the Friday the 13th movies and also throw in the reboot. Now, I know some of you are going to be asking, hey, why are you skipping Freddy vs. Jason? Because there are people out there who have asked us to actually, instead of reacting to the Friday version of this, instead the majority of people out there actually want us to react to the Nightmare version, because the Nightmare version was after James saw all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies and actually didn't have such a biased opinion against Freddy Krueger.
That makes sense.
When he first saw when he did the Dead Meat for Freddy vs. Jason. Because according to a lot of people, he had a biased opinion, and until he completed the Nightmare on Elm Street series, he didn't do it.
It's crazy that he had not seen Nightmare on Elm Street. I figured he was like a big horror movie buff.
Well, he is a big horror movie buff. Dude, I'm a big horror movie buff, and I've never seen Suspiria.
Oh, really? I've not until
I've seen clips, but nothing like.
Saw it this past year, I think, because I've been wanting to watch it for a really long time, and finally I was like, "Hey, Andrew, see if Suspiria is on your magical box thing," and he's like, "This," and I was like, "Yes, can we watch that?"
Oh, does he have one of the Cody magical boxes?
Roku's or
he has one of the like emulated.
Oh,
not necessarily 100% legit thingies.
Okay.
I think it's the thing I'm talking about.
Okay, I know what you're saying.
Also,
nobody
look who
heard that
showed
from
up
me.
to work today.
Yeah, look who actually decided to come out of her hole.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm sorry, that was mean. That was meaner than I
Then
intended.
the last thing we need is for you talking about people coming out of holes.
Whoa.
I know, right?
Let's just not talk about holes in general. Unless it's the movie, because the movie's pretty good.
Unless it's the holes that Jason punches in, like,
The
20
movie
teenagers' face.
Is the movie still good after they made you watch it like every month in elementary school, though?
What?
Holes.
They didn't do that to me.
Oh!
So.
No, because remember,
only
Nick and
saw it
I
once.
were around the time when it actually came out.
Yeah, when I was in school, it was like every time they needed to throw a movie on, they threw on Holes.
For me, it was Stand and Deliver. You know that.
That's a weird pick, but okay.
No. Stand and Deliver. It's about Jaime Escalante and the advanced mathematics courses that he held in California for the majority Latino students, and it showed his through his drive, he actually made the kids strive for more and strive for better, and it went from like 12 kids to 30 kids to 40 kids. And then in 1987, I think the last year he was a part of it, they did 87 kids graduated in the year 1987. So 87 and 87. So it was really cool. But
for me, it was not really that they ever did movies in elementary school, because our elementary school teachers missed surprisingly few days of class. When we had a substitute, it was usually like they could actually teach the material that the elementary school teacher was trying to teach.
Fair.
But when we got to middle school, it was like if you were in science class, it was Bill Nye every time.
yeah,
If you were in history class, it was Schoolhouse Rocks or whatever.
yeah.
And if you were in like English class, it was just the English version of like Schoolhouse
They hardly
Rocks.
showed us any
So,
of that stuff.
funny enough, in Spanish class, Senora Lowe, who's probably one of my favorite teachers ever, I barely learned any Spanish, but damn, I had fun in her class. She brought in Looney Tunes that were in Spanish, and hearing Porky Pig try and speak Spanish with the stutter was one of the funniest things I've ever heard. In my entire life.
That's quality.
I know we watched something.
He's like, Senor Devi, woody.
Yeah. We watched something in German, but I can't remember what it was at this point. But I remember it was pretty entertaining to see something in German that usually wasn't supposed to be.
This is fucked up, but for some reason, Nate, that reminded me of a meme I saw earlier where it was like, this girl at school stole my ice cream sandwich, and I was signing for her to give it back because she was deaf, so she just closed her eyes. And I laughed at it, and I felt bad, but like, that's basically like being like, I can't fucking hear you, so I can't give you your ice cream back.
Wow.
And here's what I would say. I'd just be like,
Bullshit, give it back.
it's like,
I mean, if they had their eyes closed, I would probably just be like,
snatch
it out of their
it
hand.
away.
Oh my god! So I worked with a delivery driver.
Here's some sign language for her.
I didn't know Nate knew the sign for bird.
Freaking.
Oh, behind every bird's a piece of shit.
So
And it goes both ways.
I worked with a delivery driver that was deaf for years, and he was really funny and really feisty. And he would come in, and from working with him for almost 3 years, I learned bullshit, thank you, and fuck you. That's it. That's all I ever learned from him.
What was bullshit?
Something like that. I don't remember.
No,
it was something
that,
like that.
No, that makes sense because the horn's on the bull, and then you got what's coming
It's
out the
something like
other
that.
end.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Like,
I don't know if that's like. I think there's some sort of like he was really aggressive about it, so there's probably like emotion to it.
It
but
makes it look
something
like some
that.
sort of like Naruto sign.
yeah, it's like
Bullshit jutsu!
But, and the delivery driver that brought my pizza last night was deaf as well.
bullshit clone jutsu.
And
It's made from bullshit.
our Domino's delivery
No, I
driver
wanna
is
fight
also
him.
deaf.
Really?
Yeah, she is. Last night she was deaf, and so I signed thank you to her, and she got really excited about it. It was really
Oh, yeah,
cute.
thank you is a
Yeah, just this.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Nick was talking
I was
to her.
like, hang on, let me yell for somebody. And I was like, hello? Like, we have a delivery.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was like, hey, that's Heather.
Yeah.
Well,
Weird.
all right. Well, we got the video queued up here, and in traditional Renegade fashion, it has taken us more than 5 minutes to get to the damn video.
And,
So-
I'm back.
yeah.
So let's actually get it started. Let me make sure I've got everything, all the audio stuff ready to go. Okay. Apply.
I'm
Okay.
just gonna start closing my
So
eyes
here we
when you
go.
Tell me what to do now.
That doesn't work, Heather. You're not deaf.
You just go,
Welcome to the Kill
la, la,
Count,
la,
where we
la,
tally
la,
up the
la,
victims
la,
in
la.
all our favorite horror movies.
When she
I'm
closed her
Jason
eyes, did she
Denise,
shake
and
her head
today,
like-
we're looking at the 10th installment in the never-ending Friday the 13th series, Jason X, aka the one where Jason goes to space. Released in 2001, nearly a decade after Jason
Yeah,
went to hell
it
in
was a
Part 9.
thing.
For those of you Friday
it
the
was
13th
awesome.
continuity purists, this must be a very frustrating streak in the series. Goes to hell completely ignored melted down sewer Jason, and this entry glosses over the whole thing where Freddy dragged Jason and his mask into hell. Jason X was made to keep interest in the character alive while Freddy vs. Jason worked its kinks out. And they threw him in space because, why not? If leprechauns, Cenobites, and critters can go to space, so too can our favorite hockey mask killer. To get to space, though, they also put Jason in the future, 455 years into the future to be exact.
The year is 2455.
Where there's lots of cool early 2000s technology around for him to kill people with. Speaking of
hey.
which, let's get to the kills.
And he's like,
While most of the movie takes place in 2455, Jason X begins in the near future year of 2010. There, Jason is
Wow.
being held for study at the Crystal Lake Research Facility and being watched over by my good friend Leo Camacho. While our heroine Rowan wants to kill off Jason for good, a greedy scientist, played by David
David
Cronenberg,
Cronenberg, yep.
intends to keep Jason alive because he's useful.
Yep.
Unique ability to regenerate lost and damaged tissue. I mean, it cries out for more research.
It's to no one's surprise when he goes to check on Jason and finds the corpse of Private Johnson instead, giving us our first kill 6 minutes in. Gotta love that name, Private Johnson. Really hope his first name was Richard. Get it? Like Dick? What follows is an action sequence in which Jason kills
Private
like
Dick
4
Johnson.
guys, I think? Let's see. He whacks one dude in the head, sure, that looks like it could kill him. Those helmets don't look all that thick, and Jason is a thrice over zombie by now. The next guy he grabs by the neck, and I think he uses him as a body shield, so I'll say grunt number 2 was choked and shot. to
Well,
death.
so
Third grunt gets a
hitting
chain
him in
wrapped around
the
his
head
neck,
would
and while I think someone could survive
probably
that,
actually,
if
like,
the
snap his
humongoloid
neck
cooking
with enough
Jason takes
whiplash,
Manhattan
like
counts
enough
as a death,
force,
then
so-
I'll count this guy as dead too. And then
That
the fourth
chain
guy
thing
there
is
gets
cool.
smacked in the face. Seems like no one else is in the room, so I'm assuming that this guy was the same dude that Jason threw the second soldier into. I'm not entirely sure, but in all honesty, guys, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Cronenberg tries to run away, but gets a spear through the back instead. Truly now, the killer has become the killee. Or the killed, I guess. Killee isn't a word. The last victim in this fun little intro sequence is Sergeant Marcus.
The murdered
once
has
young and
become
full
the
of hope,
murderer.
now dead from being thrown against the wall.
Or the
You used to
murderer
be
has
cool,
become the
Sarge.
murdered.
What happened to you, man?
Sorry.
Yeah, you should be. Jason chases Rowan into the basement, but she shoots him into the cryogenic freezing chamber,
Fuck
then
you.
slams the door and starts her up. But because the door is made of cardboard, he's able to stab her in the gut, spilling freeze stuff out into the room and freezing her alongside with him. Flash forward 4.5 centuries. A bunch of Star-Lords come in and find their frozen bodies. Turns out it's a group of students and their professor on a completely random excavation mission. Also turns out there are no Canadians in the future.
What's a hockey mask? Facial armor. Used in a sport outlawed in 2024.
One of the students, Azrael, is quite the little wiener, and he ends up knocking Jason over and getting his arm cut off, which would normally be a kill, but not in the future, where he gets it taken care of with some drugs. Drugs. The science team takes both bodies with them, leaving the desolate wasteland that Earth has become, and getting back aboard their stupid-looking shuttle, which takes them
It does
on
look
a
pretty
spaceship
stupid.
named Grendel, and what is that, a Beowulf reference? What are you
Yes.
doing, Jason X? Up there, we meet a whole plethora of people for Jason to kill, and nearly all of them have really fucking stupid names. In addition to the professor and Azrael, there's Sunarin, who seems like the nerd of nerds, mostly because he built a pretty android lady, KM, who he most definitely wants to bang.
It isn't like that.
Yeah, okay. There's also Sergeant Brodsky, leader of the military force on board, and probably the most badass character in the entire franchise. There's Adrian, the professor's star intern, and the two horny kids she's stuck supervising, Stony and Kinza. There's also Waylander, a student
Stony.
who's always down to help.
Wow,
Somebody
not
get
even
those clothes
trying.
off her. No, I got it.
Janessa, a student who's always down to be snarky,
How does he function with a brain that small?
Way manages.
and a bunch of other people who Jason's definitely going to wind up killing anyway, so who really cares? Before he can, though, we've got to do a lot of plot stuff. And honestly, guys, for once, I didn't mind it. I'm not going to say this is a great movie, but I may have had the most fun watching it. The actors buy into the self-aware, scream-like camp of the film, and there are some solid, funny bits.
That's what you look like. Skip and single.
Cowboy hat.
I want to be a cowboy,
Stop that.
baby.
Can't
I'm
take
a
the
simple
sky from
man.
him.
It looks like a Red Alert 2 era
I'm a
video
simple
game,
man. I
but
see
it
a
didn't
cowboy
bother me
hat.
how
I
long
say I
Jason
want
was
to be a cowboy,
incapacitated.
baby.
While he's under the knife, the science team repairs Azrael's arm and revives Rowan using nanobots, which apparently can also fashion modesty chainmail. And although
Actually,
the
that-
professor gets
actually, that
kinky
was-
with Janessa as she tries
that was
to
put
earn
on
an
her.
A. Stoney and Kinza just have regular old vanilla PG-13 sex. It's still hot enough to stir Jason awake, though, who apparently uses orgasms as alarm clocks. Jason gets right to work
Yep.
with one of the
He's
best
like-
kills
he's
in
like,
the series.
"Kids are having
He
fun."
drops into
Shit.
the Science stuff on Jason. Even
Gross.
feeling some sympathy for his horrible face.
Ew.
Poor baby. No wonder you wore this thing.
But that doesn't stop Jason from revealing a very tasteful amount of underboob before grabbing her head and dunking it into a tank of liquid nitrogen. Then he takes it and smashes it against the counter.
Yeah!
All over
That was my
it.
favorite-
Why
that was
there
my
a tank
favorite
of
kill of the
liquid
movie.
nitrogen there?
That
Who
is
cares?
a
That
kill.
was awesome. After grabbing
That's
the
a
most
fucking
machete
kill.
looking
Even though
tool
it's
at his
scientifically
disposal, he
impossible
goes
because
off
the
to search for
Leidenfrost
horny teens
effect.
who
Yes.
hook him up.
Uh,
Rowan and the others find Adrian's body and alert the ship, but
was
when
held
Stoney goes
long
to open
enough.
the door, he gets a
It was
machete
fine.
in the gut, spraying blood all over Kinza. Then Jason drags him away around the corner for whatever reason. Since shit's going tits up, Sergeant Brodsky takes over. And even though the professor wants to keep Jason alive for financial gain, Brodsky knows the best plan of action is to blow Jason all to hell. Before Brodsky and his grunts get locked and loaded, though, Jason interrupts a virtual game by slashing a CG monster's arm off. That doesn't count as a kill, though. Azrael and his buddy Dallas, a guy who's played by the writer of this film, are a little confused when Jason kills them both virtually, which again is not going on the list because, as Azrael points out,
That does not count as a kill.
but it does count when they turn off the game and Jason kills them both for realsies. First, he swings Azrael around and breaks his back over his knee, which is one of the most Monday Night Raw moves Jason has ever done. Not sure how that's
I
more
swear
fatal
by
than
God,
severed
he's
arm,
broken in
but whatever.
half.
Thank
He
you,
grabs
JR.
Dallas' head and bashes it against the wall until it slides down with a funny squeak.
His head wasn't even against the wall.
Nope.
Damn it.
This is when the movie really turns into aliens. First, Jason goes to kill Crunch, the ship's engineer who looks like the
Crunch.
biker dad of one of my friends in middle school. What up, Jim? The grunts show up and shoot the hell out of Jason, but he somehow gets away, so they have to go hunting for him. Naturally, this enables him to kill them off one by one. First up is Sven, who gets a metal
Oh,
gear
yeah.
solid treatment from Jason.
Chiropractor
Dragged
treatment,
into
sir?
a dark corridor and his neck broken. Way to be
to
stealthy,
sleep.
Jason. No other guards were alerted.
gear.
Is that a thing from the game? I don't know. Next up is Condor, who's carrying a sweet-ass weapon in reference to Doom.
Hondo, you got a BFG? You're with me.
He dodges
BFG,
Jason's machete
baby.
swing and actually puts up a halfway decent fight. So Jason rewards him with one of the most memorable kills in the movie, throwing him onto a random giant floor screw.
Wow.
Which he then slides down in a hilarious fashion. His death is topped off with a groan-worthy bomb.
He's screwed.
The next guy, Gecko, backs into Jason and gets her throat slit. She stumbles out of the dark corners and passes out in front of another soldier, Kicker. Is this really what the writer
Okay,
thought
I'm
future
pissed off
names
that's
would be
not
like?
my name.
Although I guess to be
Gecko.
fair, there are
Gecko.
a bunch of Khaleesi's
Well, you'd
running
have your
around
throat
nowadays.
slit.
Kicker manages to shoot up Jason.
I'd
and
be
subdue him
named
with a
Gecko.
hook long enough to get cocky over the radio. But Jason works himself free and slices him in half off screen, which is just fine because we get to see him crawl away, or at least his upper half.
Holy fuck!
Sliced in half. See, I can do this too. Where's my $1 million script option? Sergeant Brodsky finds the final grunt, Briggs, swinging from some weird ceiling spike chandelier thing. Honestly,
that's an anchor.
I want to swing from the chandelier.
Like rich psychopaths probably use that thing as a
I haven't.
Jason punches
I don't
the
miss you
wall,
anymore.
grab Brodsky and stab him, like he says.
Poke in the ribs to put down this old dog.
Jason obliges.
Yeah, that ought to do it.
But spoiler alert, he's not dead yet. I told you, Brodsky is
I
badass,
love
and he
Peter
has nearly
Minson, dude. The
reached
guy is
full
so
badass again.
funny.
Back on this lame Star Wars prequel-looking bridge, the science nerds are all destitute since they've lost their muscle. Cowboy Captain Lou comes out of hyperdrive, as he says, and prepares to dock to the larger space station Solaris. But Jason kills him before he can stick the landing with an off-screen machete slash. Now, you don't want to get blood on your console like that, Jason. That's highly sensitive equipment there. Hope you got some canned air on you. Then, guys, I don't know what to do for the kill count, because the Grendel, which is apparently made of adamantium or something, just plows through this whole fucking space station and destroys it, blowing it to pieces. And that thing looked like a small city. So I can't do anything with the numbers, but just know that Jason was responsible for the death of like a whole colony of human beings, okay? Still, Jason's much more comfortable killing on a micro scale, so in no time at all, he breaches the bridge and takes out the loathsome professor with an off-screen death after a fun line full of naivete.
You want your machete back? Shit, it's yours. Take it. Guys, it's okay. He just wanted his machete back.
Yeah, Doc, what do you think?
Yeah, sure.
There he kind of looks like Epic Lloyd, sort of.
Shrubbery? What's he gonna do?
I think maybe that's like Lloyd's older brother.
Party situation, but most of the party is actually fun to watch. For instance, all you Sunar and KM shippers finally get your wish when they have a little man-on-android makeout sesh. And Sergeant Brodsky returns after Rowan finds him, and he's gonna bring so much badassery to this movie. I promise. Just wait. While you're waiting, enjoy some body parts. Crunch and Waylander sure do when they find Lou's arm and other assorted giblets strewn about the cockpit. Crunch asks for seconds, so Jason gives him the professor's head, showing it off like a proud kid unveiling his science fair project. Then Jason kills Crunch by slamming him a bunch of times into electrical stuff. Classic Jason. Get rid of power and kill a person at the same time. He's so efficient. This whole situation ends up being a little too much for Kinza to handle, so she freaks out, locks everyone else out of the shuttle,
she's suffering from SBS.
The only problem?
No, Kinza, no, the fuel lines are still attached.
Oh, that's okay. I'm sure it won't affect things that... Oh.
Oh.
As I said, suffering from SBS. Stupid bitch syndrome.
What is that thing made out of? We're down to just a few survivors when Jason shows up again, so what happens now?
That would be me.
Now basically we die.
Not so fast,
That's
Janessa.
you.
Sonarin uses his nerd powers to make some upgrades to KM, and now that she looks like a kinky sex bot, she's ready to shoot the shit out of Jason. Oh, I'm sorry, she actually shoots the ever-living shit out of him.
Yeah.
It's a delightful sequence of fembot kickassery, and Brodsky even jumps in for a hot second. It ends with KM literally blowing Jason to pieces, one by one. It's really quite enjoyable, so just here. Yeah. Watch it some more. Woo! Now, I know what you're thinking. James, we just watched Jason's head explode like a watermelon at a Gallagher 2 show. Surely, he's got to go on that list. But guys, you're forgetting one thing. Nanobots. As the survivors call another ship to come rescue them, because the Grendel is finally starting to show its age, those pesky nanobots detect Jason's body and try to repair him. When there's not enough body tissue available on account of KM, blowing it all away, the nanobots make do with synthetic material, and thus we get Uber Jason. That's what his name is.
Oh my gosh.
It's Uber Jason. Is it ridiculous or badass? I think a little bit of both.
Yeah,
Right
a little bit of both.
Uber Jason's first act is to decapitate KM, who's still functional as just the head, leaving Sonarin looking like Al Snow for the rest of the movie.
But also,
while the rest
not
of
a
the
kill.
survivors escape to the more stable part of the ship,
Robot.
Waylander sacrifices himself to blow the charges they set, separating the ship and presumably killing Jason. But obviously, he didn't kill Jason. After a moment of respite, Jason magically punches a hole into the ship, creating a vacuum into space. It rips a vent off the floor, spelling certain doom for Janessa, who makes sure to get one last quip in before she goes.
Oh, this sucks on so many levels.
She gets sucked against the grate, leaving only a few strands of Janessa meat behind. Actually, now that I look at it, that kind of looks like some bacon. The
That
final
hurt.
3.5 survivors escape into
That
what,
hurt me.
another part of the ship, I guess, to wait for the rescue ship to show up and slip it to the Grendel. Brodsky goes out and does a spacewalk to fix some 2001-looking panel, and when Jason tracks everyone down, they slow him down by booting up the old VR machine and creating a virtual reality Camp Crystal Lake. The simulation even includes two bubbly Airsats campers interested in Jason's favorite things.
You want a beer?
Or do you want to smoke some pot?
Or we can have premarital sex.
Oh.
Tasteful.
We love premarital sex.
What follows is one of the fan base's favorite scenes, as a cut to Jason reveals him reenacting the famous sleeping bag kill from part 7,
And he's
this time
counting.
doubling down on it. I know these girls are virtual creations, and I know I didn't include VR kills earlier, but these two are going on the list. Am I being inconsistent? Yes. Rowan and Tsunara.
Hey, at least he's honest. At least he's honest. I can applaud that.
He's a total badass and has a standoff with him right as the ship explodes. Jason, not getting the hint that this movie needs to end, flies through space to attack once more. But wait, Brodsky is a total badass again.
Oh my God.
And intercepts him, riding him down to Earth too like a fucking meteorite. I told you this guy was badass. I mean, granted, this
Maybe you're a shooting star.
That is the most kick-ass.
That's a badass way to go out.
Apparently crash landing in a lake, his mask floating down to the bottom of it while some sexy teenage campers go off to investigate. Will we ever get a sequel that follows up on this? Almost definitely not. Let's do the numbers.
Ha! That's fucking funny.
This one's another messy entry with all the VR kills and the entire fucking city exploding, but by my count, there were 25 kills in the movie. Only 7 of them were women, with 18 of them guys, meaning this movie's second only to Manhattan for the most imbalanced pick list. At 91 minutes long, we get a kill on average every 3.64 minutes. Edging out Goes to Hell for the title of most frequent kills in the series. A lot of fun kills in this movie, but the golden chainsaw definitely goes to Adrian for the first.
Yep, that's the one.
It was impossible.
That
But
one's
either Nanobots could create an Uber Jason. It was still awesome. I'll give lamest kill collectively to that group of grunts in the beginning. Honestly, not even sure if most of them should be dead.
Yeah.
The internet says they are.
Yeah.
So what do I know? And that's it. Released in 2001, Jason X is a ridiculous movie, but it's very comfortable being a ridiculous movie, and that's why I enjoy it, which I understand is a controversial opinion.
Yep.
Next week is the ultimate showdown of Ultimate Destiny, Freddy vs. Jason. But until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count.
And Gandalf the Grey, and Gandalf the White, and Monty Python, and the Holy Grail's Black Knight, and Benito Mussolini, and the Blue Meanie,
can we not do
Cowboy
this?
Curtis, and John B. the Genie, Robocop, Terminator, Captain Kirk, and Darth Vader, Lopan, Superman, and every single Power Ranger, Bill S. Preston, Theodore Logan, Spock the Rock, Doc Ock, and Hulk Hogan. I came out of nowhere, lightning fast, and
We're gonna be here a
Chuck
while.
Norris and his cowboy ass. Sorry. I'm probably going to get a copyright claim for that.
Probably.
Probably.
For those of you who don't know, go watch the Ultimate
Ultimate
Showdown
Showdown
of Ultimate Destiny.
Pretty sure everybody knows about that, though.
You don't know.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. So, yeah, there we go. That's
Yeah.
I like his videos.
James.
They're good.
Yeah, James is always puts on like a really good show with his videos.
Am
I really like them. I'm
Yes.
being inconsistent. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Join the club. We're watching Friday the 13th movies.
It's the equivalent of what we say all the time. Fuck you. We do what we want.
Exactly.
Am I being really inconsistent?
Yes.
Job done. It's just.
And are we being inconsistent here? Yes.
Yes, we
Very
are.
much so. So
I still love the fact that Cronenberg shows up in this.
Yeah.
well, freaking Cronenberg. I mean,
It's like, what the fuck?
well, Cronenberg. He was actually in talks to direct Freddy vs. Jason at one point.
Oh.
because you know, the meeting of two horror icons, and they really wanted to try and get him to be the director, because they were courting him for it, and him having a part in this was one of the things they did to try and sweeten the deal.
Yeah.
But eventually he dropped out because they couldn't agree on a vision. According to what people said, Cronenberg wanted to do a weird thing where when they pulled Freddy into the real world, he was actually like something like a hideous amalgamation of all the nightmares that had been previously shown.
That's Cronenberg.
Well, yeah, it is Cronenberg, and I would love to have seen that. But at the same time, you know, the story, the people, the studio wanted it to be a traditional one-on-one, mano-a-mano showdown.
Yeah.
In which I can understand, but hey, artists and their visions, I mean, you know, you can say all you want about how an artist's vision deserves to be seen, and in some cases it's true, but at the same time, it's not always the outcome.
Yeah.
That's sad, but true. But yeah, I still enjoyed this movie. I went and watched this movie in theaters with my friends right after. It was actually, I believe, right after my 16th birthday. I went with my dad. My dad
When
took
did
us
this
in.
come out?
2001, I believe.
Yeah.
I was 5 years old, Nate.
Oh no, not 2000. No, 2000.
No, you said 2001.
Was it 01 or 03? No, it was 01.
Hold
no,
on.
it wasn't. No, it was my 13th birthday, not my 16th. My 16th birthday. God, what did we go and see?
So wait a minute now. Hold on. Release date November 2001 in Spain. April 26th, 2002 in New York and Los Angeles.
I was 6 years old.
I remember me and my dad. We went and we took a whole lot of my friends to go and watch it, and my dad took us in and we watched it. There was like 6 of us. I remember it was one of them was a neighbor of mine who, honestly, I didn't like very much, but my mom was very insistent because she was friends with his mother and all that. Kid was dipping tobacco when he was 10 years old. By the time he was about to get out of high school, his teeth were pretty much rotting out of his head.
Great.
The other one was another friend of my mom's, who I was this kid I was actually pretty good friends with, but he turned into a jackass who wound up having 5 different kids from 3 different baby mamas. So he gonna be busy with payments.
Oh, fun.
And then Andrew, Michael Hayes, and Andrew. I believe Andrew Martin was the last one, and like all 6 of us, piled up in my dad's truck, which was one of those. It was a Dodge Ram. It was a dual cab Dodge Ram. I was up in the front, and everyone else was like squeezed together in the back. And we all went, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And
you just vaguely reminded me that most of my teenage years was me and 2 of my friends. They were sisters, Rachel and Stephanie, and sometimes Haley and Bobby would ride in the back of my dad's Silverado, like in the actual back of it, to the dollar store to get movie snacks and then go to the movies. Like, I forgot we used to ride in the back of that truck.
That's terrifying.
I remember whenever I got my driver's license, I became everyone's chauffeur, pretty much, because
that was me.
I loved driving. I just like to drive around and listen to music. And a friend of mine a couple friends of mine one time were just like, "Hey man, can you take us down to the store to get some stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, why not?" And yeah, it was fun. I remember when I got my driver's license. You know who my number one partner was in terms of driving places?
Oh Lord,
Zach.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
The very moment I turned 16 and get my driver's license and I get my car, Zach's just like, "Nate, let's go, man, let's go." And I'm just like, "Okay, fine,
like,
let's go."
Here we go. Yeah.
But
I would give some of my buddies that didn't have their license or didn't have a car yet rides home from school. Just to keep them from having to ride on the bus and deal with bullshit.
I used to do that too.
Yeah.
It always was like a really nice thing to do.
I actually was kind of sad when I had to start driving in some way because my grandma was my bus driver.
Aw.
Yeah, and I was the last I wasn't the last grandkid, but about 2 years after I got my driver's license, she retired from driving the school bus, and gosh, man, she loved driving me to school. I remember actually one morning I wasn't up early enough, and my mom didn't wake me up. My mom was on one of her times.
Having a bad time?
Yeah. And all of a sudden, outside of my house, I hear, beep, beep. And I'm just like, what the hell? I wake up and I look out my window, and there's my grandma. She's just like, and she opens up the window. She's like, "Nate, I know you can hear me. Beep, beep." And I'm like, oh, God, Nene.
Living in a small town is weird, isn't it?
And then I go and I get my backpack. I get dressed. I actually wore the wrong set of shoes. I wore one shoe that was Nike and one shoe that was Reebok, but they both looked the same. They both looked the same, and they were right next to each other. And I rushed out of there, and I didn't
just grabbed them and went. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, dumbass me.
All I can think about since he said that, am I being inconsistent? Yes, is this quote. I keep meaning to tell you, Ben, because it's very Heather.
Oh no!
It's a Gerard Way quote, and it's, "You can correct me. I won't listen, but you can correct me."
And if you're incorrect, that's dumb on your part.
I mean, that's true. I will change my opinion on something if you correct me and you can back it up with a fact. Because I'm not going to deny a fact. That would be dumb. It's a fact. But if it's an opinion,
like when I was like, it's Elfenlied because it's German, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah, Elfenlied. All right.
But then if you were just like, because I want to call it that, I'd be
like...
like...
because I think that's the one I've always called
I'll
it.
be like, all right,
go
cool.
fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's just like, the whole Appalachian and Appalachian argument.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm
like...
going to throw an
Appalachia.
Appalachia.
But it's like, no, it's Appalachian. You're not saying it right.
I'm like, no, you don't live here, so go fuck yourself.
And actually, I was like, okay, where are you from? I'm from New Jersey. Okay, I'm from Appalachia. I'm from a county that has a town in it named Appalachia. Don't tell me how to say it.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw an Appalachia.
Yeah, exactly. If you tell me to pronounce Appalachia like that one more time, I'm going to throw an Appalachia.
Oh, man. All right, well, we're going to end it here. If you want to watch the original video, everybody, the link, as always, is in the description down below. Go check out James's channel. Guy does amazing work.
Oh, yeah.
And, hey, we're going to move right into the next one, which is going to be the Friday the 13th reboot Dead Meat that he did a video on. So we're going to move on to that. And until next time, signing off, I'm Nate.
I'm Ben.
I'm Heather.
Nick.
And Peanut is under a blanket. He already had a hard day helping me stream.
And we will see you all in the next video. Peace out.